Thank you, sir, for joining. I think it's a pleasure to have you here. And you have been supporting across the ecosystem all the while. In fact, this topic I had actually built specifically for Suryodaya Bank because I think the kind of leadership you have seen, you work in microfinance, you work in MSME, real micro MSME, and you also go digital, right? So I think I want to understand, they partner with fintechs at scale. You have seen Paytm and partnering with them for UPI on credit and so many partnerships. So I think I want to know what is the thought process in your mind, what is the kind of optionality you are building, how are you handling different segments in the market?
When we all started business in 2009 as a microfinance institution, one of the key assumptions which played out was that customers were homogeneous, which is not the case, which is not even happening at a household level. Within a household, we have the lady of the household, typically a microfinance customer, who's comfortable doing physical, aided, max Phygital, not necessarily going digital herself, not confident enough. Suddenly you have the husband who's taking money through GPay, but the kids out there are very, very comfortable being completely digital. They just leapfrog. Within the household with being so different, I think getting stuck with the model in terms of saying whether customers need branches. Today we are seeing a situation where public sector branches are not putting in physical branches. Private sector banks are supposed to be digital or putting more physical branches.
Yeah.
So which technically means that probably they have enough customers, 98% of the transactions on one side of banks while it is happening digital, which is what SBI's even latest quarterly results reflect. But still the amount of cash in circulation has doubled than what it was during pre-demon. 15 lakh crores has gone to some 30, 35, 38 lakh crores. So it's a world with lots of options. The customer chooses. And it is also that it's not that the customer is unique by himself. The customer himself, we have to use quote unquote, is not homogeneous. They expect a particular transaction to be completely digital. But I want to take a mortgage. Sudipta was doing a brilliant presentation on AI. But for me as a customer, if I want to do high value, I would rather want to meet a person in person. And if I'm going pure transactions, I don't want to meet him. So we are in extremes ourselves in terms of what kind of transactions, depending on what it is. So optionality becomes extremely important. As a microfinance institution, we presume that customers are homogeneous, which is not. The customers have moved up, but we're still treating them like school kids when they were really passed out of the school and not even undergrads, they're doing it the postgrad. So we learned over a period of time, it is very, very wrong. I think thinking is difficult. Rethinking is extremely difficult. We are stuck in the past. Sometimes we think, no, we are the giver and the taker. I think this is what I think people like in the digital team have really taught us that, if you're successful in some, let's assume that we are not going to be successful doing the same thing after 3 months. I think this is our learning from microfinance institution to moving to a small finance bank. And as you rightly said, being the most preferred partner for the fintechs. And people ask that, why is it? We also ask internally, why should somebody come to us? Then we decided that if we ask too many questions ourselves, we will not really focus on the opportunity we'll be trying to answer.
No, I think just to look at it, we were talking about the AI piece. They are doing a lot of programs on AI. They may have the largest partnership in the market and the agility of speed, right? I think I want to understand, maybe we'll go to microfinance first and then we'll go to the other partnerships done in the market and what is the thesis. Very unlikely to see digital and both together. So maybe what's your thesis on microfinance? You've been working there, you've been sort of leading the market in many ways, right? So maybe a quick view on what microfinance is headed and how you can support the ecosystem.
So at a microfinance customers are initially happy to be coming in groups. When you're not certain, you actually want the comfort of a group. Then as you become comfortable, then you don't want the group. You want to be treated to who I am. Don't treat me as a customer number. Treat me as a customer. So I think this is where we are at this point of time in terms of our microfinance customers. So they are no more poor. It used to be that, say probably in mid-90s and probably in the starting of 2000. Now, as popularly said, if you meet anybody in an NGO in Bombay, they say nobody ever dies of hunger in Mumbai. Not now, not even 20 years back. So I think it has moved. So our customers' expectations, their aspirations is no more in terms of just having basic certainties. It's far more aspirational. So I think hence the way in which we'll have to cater to them changes dramatically. Initially we used to take tons of paper. We are also busy doing so-called post-disbursement documentation. Today our entire microfinance operations happen with just 3 people in the back end.
Oh, okay, just 3 people in the back end.
So completely digital. You don't have, so people when statutory auditor quoted, say they have to go do a sample in terms of going to the branches. So they said, no, I can't really kind of go to the branch because you have nothing in the branch. Everything is centralized. So said, we'll do audit and then go visit the branches. About, say, 10 years back, the statutory auditors have to visit the branches to do audit, because if they go to the branch today, they will not see a single piece of paper, I'm sure across and certainly for us. So sometimes you wonder whether there is really activity happening or is it a bank branch. In fact, some of the customers, when they come and say, they say that, no, thoda dar lag raha hai, koi bhi nahi hai. The number of employees inside the bank branch is more than the number of customers. So that scenario is probably happening only because of digitization at the real root cost, at the root level.
No, this is brilliant, brilliant. And also, you have been double-clicking on MSMEs, right? And real micro MSMEs, so real micro entities. So maybe you want to quickly talk about what's your thesis and how it is playing out in the market. How are you building credit to bring credit to people who are not getting either getting credit or not getting credit at the right price?
I think inclusion overall, I think, has become more in terms of credit. Actually, I think the real experience is in terms of, I think Sudip also really mentioned, of course, as an NBFC mentioned more about lending at the right time, predicting the requirements. I think the real value add in financial inclusion happens when a partner can tell me what to do, equally important what not to do. You have taken 3 more loans, hey, stop, can you kind of ponder about it? So I think that is where I think we are really passionately really working in terms of, can you be the partner where the customer can just give you the decisioning and we be responsible enough, the customer will not come back after 6 months, said you missold. The RBI governor in their speech, and they kept kind of keep doing every time. The mis-selling has become such a problem. What fundamentally we are probably naive, we ask ourselves the question, everybody requires insurance, everybody requires mutual fund, everybody requires savings, so why is that it's being missold? So there is something which is missing between what I require and what you're providing. Both do the same, but the pipe in which it's happening probably is wrong. Probably it is just being pushed because the person who's selling has got only one objective, which is selling. He's not buying the product for the customer. I think that's where we are kind of looking at the next big phase for MSME. Credit is the easiest. Everybody can do. I think it increasingly it's going to be, as we heard Sudip also mentioned, it'll happen in 4 hours, it'll happen in 3 hours, it'll happen in 2. Ideally, sometimes you'll have to think about it that no, you can't really wake up in the morning and say, I want a credit approval in 5 minutes time. Actually, that's a wrong guy to lend to. Sometimes you'll have to go through the process. It can be half an hour, but in half an hour and 3 minutes, you're not going to kind of wake up in the morning and say, I want to buy a home loan, I need approval in 5 minutes, I need registration in 1 hour. I think that's not how generally it happens. So it has been sometimes overhyped in terms of turnaround time. They need predictability. You know, Samir will know for sure he applies for a home loan for 2 CR, he will get. Then there is a process which validates whether so on and so forth, that really kind of happens. Beyond credit is where I think the challenge is. If you're just coming from Andheri Kurla Road, the number of shops, I said that no, you can't go to the guy and say that no, what do you want? He will not even engage with me. But you need to have a product which is full, which gives holistically. I think that is the biggest opportunity next for whether it's an SFB or for a bank. It's not about lending quick. Lending quick is what fintechs have done brilliantly, which is what, say for example, L&T will do, which is what Surya will do. So that's one piece of it. The next piece is in terms of how to really combine so that you are truly a financial partner. So if I go to Vijay Sales or say Chroma and I want to buy a Mac, if you ask me 1,000 questions, which RAM and which one, I don't know. I just want to buy one for my wife who wants a Mac, period. So if he tells me that, sir, just buy this is 1.15 lakh, thank you very much. After 6 months, I still feel that, wow, this is what he did. I think is the MSME. Samir is really struggling to really get an answer saying, how can I really create wow.
Oh, that's good. Normally when you think of a small finance bank, and hand on heart, when you would have been thinking maybe a few years back, that ye log kuch nahi karenge digital mein, okay? And I have been working with them and I have been seeing it from close quarters. What should ideally take 12 months takes 3 months in Suryodaya, and things go live and the aggression is huge. We went live in core banking migration in 8-9 months, right? And the kind of push and the kind of engagement you had on the program was very, very deep, right? I can't imagine MD and CEO sitting on those reviews regularly. So in your mind, how critical is digital and how critical is technology? Because that rest all will happen post that. So why did you drive it like that, and what has been the impact on the organization?
I think we learn quite a bit. So Uday Kotak referred in something saying that, hey, look at this bank called New Bank. So immediately we went and kind of, we do sessions on Sundays when we were completely free, 3, 4 of us. So we just kind of, had this was about 2, 3 years back. And then again, we refreshed in terms of seeing what they are. They have 60% of the Brazilian population being their customer, which is a bank which is no more than 10 years. So just imagine that the Suryodaya has 60% of a particular state.
How many?
60% they have, no bank.
Okay.
I mean, but what is that they have cracked the code when when Brazil is not a small country. I'm sure the population is at least 25, 30 crores, 1/4, 1/5 of India. So if somebody what does technology has done is that it has really smashed the gap between the haves and have-nots. Not possible 10 years back. The only thing is that now everybody keeps saying that, hey, somebody spends $1 billion, so on. I think technological effectiveness is not about how much money you spend. It is also about how well you are really spending. You don't need to really spend for the sake of spending it, which is what, as Samir was mentioning. When you do it in 8 to 9 months, Vishal, our CEO, challenge saying that almost said committed, and it looked like too good to be true. So you're worried if something is too good to be true, you better kind of check the box in terms of whether it is true. And we're down for just about 36 hours. And all over the place, people said, how can a bank network be down for 36 hours? And I hear that currently probably it takes more than a couple of days to do that. I think no more there is a choice of a CEO, which I think I was brilliant. I think I keep referring to the previous discussion. A CEO talks like a CIO or much more than that. Today you cannot really hide, or rather you cannot have an alternate of not understanding technology or digital and say I'll hire the best. Even if you hire the best, you will still not know what it really takes. You may not be the best at it, but it's extremely important that you attempt to be digitally understanding, if not very savvy.
No, this is good. This is good. And I'll take the next question, but maybe Jay, if you can plan for Mike so that we can get some questions from the partners, the team here and audience as well, because they are. I think I've seen amazing patience out there. People are really, really keen to listen and ask questions. So maybe the last one from my side is, normally fintech partnerships are not scaling in most organizations, and you have been very, very aggressively partnering with them, and very good numbers out there to show as well. So what is in the DNA which you're building in the organization which is helping you scale digital so well in terms of your own channels, but also so intensively with your partners?
I think, Samir, which is what quite a bit of them share their experience, which is true in our case as well. I think if you want to really do substantially digital, on one side where you are very comfortable doing meeting in person, it's better to kind of let them be what they are independently. If you kind of mix and match, they will either force fit or you let a force fit, it becomes a mess. So the digital team is 5 members strong, 6 members strong. They think on their own and then they kind of come out. So when we launched Create on UPI in October end, we said the fintech along with Paytm, we said, can we have 1 million customers by March? It was just too much of an ask. It was just an aspiration.
1 million customers by March in 5 months.
Yeah, we just said, can it be? Is it possible? So in 8 years' time, probably we would have had that number of customer base as a bank through physical, digital means. It looked crazy. But as we speak today, in 4 months' time, probably we have half of that.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And probably more to go. And the acceleration is much faster. So alongside so many things, as I say, that two things can happen, whether the road comes first or the cars comes first. In certain countries, it's the roads which came and then the infrastructure that is, and then you got the vehicles. In some places, you get the cars and then the road comes because there are enough cars and you need roads. So I think in our case, it has been in terms of get the cars first and then the road kind of happens. But making sure that there is basic infrastructure available for the thing to sail through. So Create on UPI is a classic example where we are really working is that not to underestimate it. There's actually one product. I think digital does something which any other means cannot happen. So in physical, what we call as digital FDs, we get around 8 crores a day, completely
8 crores of FDs a day?
Yeah, completely retail, which no more than one.
And no branch intervention, nothing?
No. The beauty about that is that if the customer is unhappy, you get to know. Because straight, they kind of report on that they are unhappy. In a physical world, it becomes very difficult for the information, the customer is unhappy to travel, or whether he is happy to travel probably happens faster. And the entire experience is that these are the customers who don't really want to interact. So when this is happening at a large scale, what we kind of go back and see that even if I give a full page ad in Times of India at best, I will have a huge crowd in the branch. But
you can't
serve them as well as digital.
And maybe what happens to the CAC, right? Cost acquisition, cost of service when you go digital?
Yeah, the partners take part of that cost because their priority is to really get lots of customers to do various products. So that actually is exactly complementary. I sell only one product, so I can't do that much of a spending in digital marketing. So they do that because they get the customer and they sell bonds, they sell multiple. So this, I think, is it's a complementary. I think partnership is the way to go. No more now today. Earlier, 10 years back, people said that if you're partnering, what happens if they move on? I think today the question is that while they can move on, nobody will shortchange anybody, because if I shortchange you as a partner, it is likely that nobody else will like to partner with me.
It's a very small ecosystem, right? Now this is good. Any questions from the participants here? Maybe if you can just move the mic, guys. Guys, can you move the mics, please? Maybe we have space for maybe 2-3 questions.
Hi, good afternoon, sir. As you rightly put out, previously branch were my assets to scale my business. Today, data is my asset. Particularly in India, how you see the future of open banking, where I'm going to share my customer data, maybe with my competitor, to avail the services where they are good at, in exchange of services which I am good at. Because sharing of data among competitors is still a uncertainty for the bank, for purchasing of business. Because we see data exchange between insurance and a bank and a wealth tech, but not among banks. So how you see that scaling up, the open banking in India?
I think if I understand right, there are two separate things. One, data I think is becoming DPDP coming, and it's going to be extremely difficult. I can't even use within. Maybe Samir can add.
Yes.
They're experts.
You can't do lending to savings. All of that is not possible now.
Yes.
So even the digital yatra is saying that they purge at the end of 24 hours. They don't kind of keep track in terms of where all kind of you have traveled to. So it's not going to be silly. But what happens that at least one private sector bank, which I've become a very big fan in terms of mobile app, tells you your PF balance faster than you can go through Umang and find out. Probably they refresh every time you want to check the balance. These people probably refresh it once a month and hence able to pick it up and show you in a second. While you go to the core app, which is supposed to show you the balance, takes minutes, or sometimes doesn't happen. I think that is where the next one would be. In terms of, I'll come to a place, I see all the accounts, I'll still do it. Not necessary that I use the data, but the fact is that the customer kind of keeps coming to a particular point. You kind of then can sell so many things or buy so many things for the customer.
No, perfect.
So maybe the
I think we'll keep to one question each, right? Okay. Can you just quickly move, guys? Yeah. Maybe one guy can stand on the other side. Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, I have one question with respect to the small NBFCs like us. How can we make a specific model which actually create low-cost branches vis-a-vis high-impact branches in a small NBFC structure like us?
The cost of a bank branch for us, where I want to put, is no more than 4 to 5 lakhs. Sometimes it is just the templated that we have been spending, say, 15 lakhs. It becomes very difficult, so internally people among themselves will fight, saying, why do we need a locker which is 1 lakh? I can as well go with Amazon, some locker which is available for 10. Because if I'm going to store only 5,000 rupees of cash, why do I really need a 1 lakh? Today, the transactions which are happening inside a branch for new banks, which is all SABs put together, 2-3 of the latest universal banks, is a fraction which favorably, we kind of call it in a very cliched manner, number of employees inside a bank branch is more than the number of customers. So if that is the case, the world has changed, then we still want to operate with a 1,000 square feet branch. It looks pretty scary. You walk into a 400 square feet branch, there is only one person, you are okay with it. But imagine you are in a 1,000 square feet branch and there are 7 people sitting and 2 customers. I wouldn't really, you go to a restaurant where it is crowded, and next restaurant where it is empty, you don't go. Actually, ideally, logically speaking, you should go there because you got a place to sit. So the reinventing of that, actually going back and asking the question or alternate, just scrap it out and say that, hey, I'm going to start now. What did I really require? I think the high cost model has got multiple things. If you want to, I think we have learned from some of the organizations, is that if I have 30,000 rupees of rent, I would need a 300 square feet. If you get a 1,000 square feet office for 20,000, please don't take. You need, because the moment you take 1,000, you will start expanding for 1,000, which you don't really require in the place. And partnering, not really doing everything yourself.
Yeah. Maybe just one last, we have just 1 minute left, so maybe a quick response. Yeah, last one.
So my question is about the adoption of e-rupee in the banks going forward, and how do you see the impact of moving the customers from the CASA to CBDC? How would banks be impacted with that?
I'm not an expert in CBDs at all, but what I can broadly tell you is supposed to be cash in a digital form, giving you the comfort of that it is not being monitored like the regular digital transactions. Somehow it has not really taken off. I don't even know whether it exists, at least I don't use. And I think we have been, the government, regulator have been pushing. Maybe Samir will be the right guy to answer. So I don't think I have an answer for that.
Yeah, thank you. And I think it's work in progress. Let's every time we do something, we think that UPI is the race we will get through. But if somebody would have gone through the UPI build-up process, would know how difficult it was. The POC was done in 2015. 2016, we went live. Nobody cared a damn about it. And then suddenly something happened. Demon happened. So I think the demon movement on this may happen as well. And we'll see. I think with this, we close. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for this great session. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I know I made you move.